What a nice, peaceful day. Just another lovely day here in this lovely world. All the nerdy things are happening. Everything's going according to plan. And I, of course, am referring to the plan to convert everybody to Warhammer. Oh, you thought I was talking about, like, Marvel Star... No, let's be serious. But we do have some news. Just a little bit of news to go over. Yeah, that's actually 100% true. I have a hair appointment in about a half hour. I got to get out of here. It's going to be a super short stream today, guys. Super short stream. All right, hang on one second. I got to adjust something. I think this is it. Yeah, hang on now. Pump that up just a little bit. All right, that'll do. That'll do. What up? What up? What up? What up? How are you guys doing today, man? The hell? Hey, the glasses get fogged up like that. I gotta get new glasses. I know I lost these glasses and then I found these glasses. That's the closest that I've been in forever to getting new glasses. I've probably deadass needed new glasses for like 6 years. You know what I mean? Pause Thunderbolts for this? Oh yeah, Thunderbolts is out. Is it out on Disney Plus or is it just out on like streaming and all that? I did hear it was out. I do want to watch it again. Oh, only that many likes? You know why? Because I probably didn't do this. This poll actually works, believe it or not. Did you smash like? And then everybody's like, I'm not voting that poll. Or then they'll click like, I don't know. Have I seen F1? I have not seen F1. I would like to see F1. Looks awesome. Seems like a super fun film. Have you guys seen it? Did you like it? Is it super cool? I need to turn the light down, dude. I'm sorry. It's hot back here. Just close the poll. How dare you? I just closed the poll. Fuck you, Josh. I'll put that in chat. I'll write into the chat. I just closed your stupid poll, but I won't take the time to click like. Okay, thanks, buddy. Hey, thanks a lot, bud. You liked it? F1? I mean, this is probably... I don't know if it's like the most successful Apple movie so far, but it seems like it is. It seems like it's getting pretty good buzz, pretty good hype, pretty good buzz. It was washing out, was it? Oh, okay. Literally, my brain could not comprehend what you were saying there, Adam. I was like, wash my face. I just did. What are you talking about, bro? The camera's gonna wash my face. I like Days of Thunder. I feel like it's gonna have a similar vibe. Wait, what? Oh, Days of Thunder. Is that like a racing movie? I have not seen it. F1 felt like Maverick, fun movie. Yeah, I've heard that for sure. I've heard it's like a big, you know, like experience kind of a thing. All crazy with the action and stuff. I mean, dude, F1 is pretty crazy. You get in those cars and you're going like what, close to 200 miles an hour? That's pretty wild. And then have you seen the things where they do their reflexes and shit? Oh my god, dude. Those people that drive F1, holy. Like they're like, but I guess you got to be, otherwise they'd be dead. Right. So all the dead ones would probably be the ones that are like dropped in. I shouldn't say that, but that's your fault. It's legit actually just a remake of Driven. Oh, yeah? Brave people. Yeah. Or just they're addicted to the thrill. The thrill of it. You know? Either way, it is pretty crazy. It's pretty intense. And you know who are really brave? Are the people in the crowd, man. Did you guys watch that Gran Torino movie? I actually thought Gran Torino was incredible. Mm-hmm. You're not getting away until you see Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise. I've not seen it. Tommy Cruise, huh? You're brave, Josh? I am brave. I face the internet every day. I face chat every day. You know what I mean? Well, not every day. In fact, almost didn't do it today. But decided we would. Got a couple of things to go over. Probably a shorter stream. No big deal, though. No big deal. Gran Turismo. That's the movie. Gran Torino's totally different. That's with the old racist get off my lawn dude, right? The character. Yeah. Wait, now I'm confused. Now I think I was right, and Gran Torino is whatever. Who gives a shit? The one that was based off the video game with David Harbour. That movie is legit, but in that movie, they depict something that actually happened where one of the cars comes off the track and literally hit a guy in the crowd and killed him. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine getting, like, surviving that? Gran Turismo is the game? Yeah, Gran Turismo is the game, like I said. You know what Gran Turismo is making me think of as I read it is Gran Tiramisu. Oh my god, Nick said it. Nick said Gran Tiramisu. Tiramisu's pretty banging. Almost had a tiramisu espresso martini on Friday night. We went out for dinner at a nice fancy restaurant. And I was like really tempted to get the tiramisu espresso martini. But we had a couple other errands to run, so I didn't want to do like a dessert cocktail on the way out. And I was like, no, we'll be chill. But next time maybe, because that sounds incredible. I love an espresso martini too. Tiramisu is my favorite kind of cake. Yeah, I mean, I guess it is technically cake, but yeah, I don't know. It's great though. It is great, man. Oh, you hate coffee? Yeah, if you hate coffee, you can't do either of those things. Did you say errands? What? Yes, errands. Running around, doing stuff. You know, we were thinking about going to Bed Bath & Beyond. We didn't know if we'd have enough time. Nice little Friday planned, you know? Costco makes amazing tiramisu. I almost can't believe that. How could that be? The best tiramisu I ever had was from, actually, Maggiano's. Maggiano's had, and still has, incredible tiramisu. I've had some really good tiramisu at, like, other family-owned Italian restaurants and stuff, too. But the recipe they have at Maggiano's is crazy. Giant Eagle makes a great tiramisu. I can't believe that, either. I mean, I'm sure it's serviceable. But, yeah, I don't know about all that. I have a heart condition, so I don't drink a lot of caffeine. You have a heart condition and you watch this show? Aren't I just like a little bit too much for your heart? You know, I can yell, scream, give some really toxic bad takes. Are you sure you should be here, brother? You might want to check with your doctor. You might want to check with your doc. Where should I put this water? Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we got a couple of things to go over today. I wanted to discuss Marvel Studios is apparently having trouble deciding on whether or not they want Strange Academy or the Nova series to be movies or shows. So we'll talk about that. I have my take on it. I want to know what you guys think too. Kind of interesting. And then I had some ideas for like what I think they should actually do for shows. Which I guess is a spoiler alert, but I definitely think Nova should be a movie. We'll get into that. We'll talk about that. There was somewhat of a new reveal. It's not really a new reveal, but we can at least go over it. It is an adjusted description that is coming, I believe, from Cinemark for Brand New Day. Really not too much there, but we can at least jump on that and see how they were discussing the previous version. What do we think the new version is going to be, etc., etc. Got some cool Halo news. So I'm a massive Halo fan. Halo has been, well, not doing that great, but Halo Studios was formed, I believe, earlier this year, maybe late last year. Kind of saw this thing where they were heading towards maybe a new Halo game, maybe new Halo show, maybe a lot of new Halo stuff being cooked. We just got a little bit of a tease yesterday of when the next announcements are coming and what they could be. So we'll go over that a little bit. There's news about Invincible Season 4. the animation, the animation house that is handling the animation has come out to say that the next season is going to blow people's minds. And we're going to talk about that. We'll go over exactly what they said. And I want to address this because if that actually happens, man, Invincible is so fucking good. Like, it's a little bit of a mixed bag. I can't quite say that it's a masterpiece overall, but man, the highs are really high. Like the end of the last season, but basically the end of all seasons, and I think just all of season 1 is so fucking good. But the animation holds it back for me, man. Like, the animation really does hold it back for me personally. And so I'm really amped up to hear that they're trying to address that problem. And they want to do, like, at least 8 seasons of this thing, maybe more. So, like, seriously, if they do that, like, whoa, like, we might be... This could be peak, primo superhero cape shit. Because, like, Invincible has all of the pieces, except for, I think, the animation to be that. So we'll talk about that. I also wanted to go over a really interesting Reddit post that I found. And it's from a Reddit called Who Would Win, which I just discovered recently, and I kind of dig it. And in this Reddit post, they explain how some certain Warhammer characters could enter the Star Wars universe and literally slaughter everybody. So it's like Star Wars universe versus a few select characters from Warhammer. Because, we're trying to get everybody into Warhammer. I don't know if you noticed this or not, guys. But we're trying to get everybody into Warhammer here. I thought an incredible way to do this would be to actually explain how much more powerful the characters of Warhammer are as compared to Star Wars. So we'll get into that, and maybe we'll get into some debate, maybe some fanboy tears. That's kind of the plan. See if I missed anything. I think that's it. Yeah, man, I think that's what we're going to get into today. Now I'm excited. I am excited. Leon says, nah, you know what's peak? Marvel Rivals Season 3 trailer, baby. Let's go. Happy to still be here, everyone. Hope everyone is having a great week. Ah, man, appreciate you. Yeah, that does look really cool, and those skins look awesome too, man. I haven't been playing a lot of Rivals. Like, just to be honest, like, I don't know. The grind for me is just a little much. And I still haven't found it to be like a really balanced and fun experience. So I haven't been playing as much Rivals. But, dude, the seasons, the content, the level at which they release this stuff, and the skins, like, it's kind of crazy. They definitely cook with that. Pretty much, they just be cooking with that, man. And it's pretty impressive to see. Pretty impressive to see. Thanks, though. All right, ladies and gentlemen, should we get into it, man? New Warhammer Ironheart drops tonight. We need another watch party. I thought about doing another watch party. Here's the thing. I thought about doing a watch party. I thought about doing a... I'm actually going to play Warhammer tonight, and I thought about, like, streaming it, or I thought about doing, like, a research Warhammer stream. We're definitely going to do some more stuff, but I'm not going to do anything tonight. I'm just, like, there's a lot I'm juggling behind the scenes, and I just need time to chunk out some of this work. And I have a chunk of stuff that I have to do for work tonight before I then go play Warhammer with my buddy. So no watch party tonight. But yeah, I did think that we did have fun last week. I thought that was pretty funny. I know some people were pissed. I thought it was pretty funny. Watch Those Wrist Rockets says, did you get a haircut? No, I actually have to get out of here soon so that I can go get my haircut. That's kind of what we're doing here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Let me get this pulled up for you. Okay, Marvel Studios. You guys ever hear of Marvel Studios? They are making some changes to their content, to the way that they think about content. Just the other day, Daniel RPK came out to say that Marvel Studios was indeed cutting back on the shows, and they're trying to tell the majority of their stories in the movies. The shows are going to operate truly separately from the overall story, the thing that's going to be happening in the MCU. I think this is a good idea. This is also something that Jeff Snyder had before Daniel, by the way. But all well and good. I think that that makes two reliable people sort of suggesting that that's what they're doing. Okay. However, like most things over at Marvel, the process has already started, right? I mean, it's kind of like I think one of the reasons that Marvel technically started to know some things were going wrong in Phase 4, but wasn't really able to pivot until basically now, is because it is somewhat of a machine, right? They are a machine. They're like constantly building, and they were building way too much just a year ago. And, you know, that's kind of the story of 2025, just releasing all that stuff and hopefully pivoting into a new direction. But there were still projects. I think these are the two most famous ones that were technically in some stage of production for the last few years, meaning they've been in production for a bad period of time. So it is possible that not all the lessons were learned. The true pivot had not been done. And so therefore, these two shows in particular have been conceptualized at a time that now we're thinking, okay, maybe we don't want to do the shows like this anymore. So last night, this report comes out here. It says Marvel Studios is reportedly deciding whether to make Strange Academy and Nova as movies or Disney Plus shows, and this is coming from Daniel as well. And, you know, a lot of that stuff I just told you, it's all just to kind of inform that this does make sense. It would make sense that this decision is happening considering all the other stuff that's been reported that we've talked about. So I guess the question then becomes, and I got some notes here. Let me grab my notebook, you know. The question, I guess, would be, well, what should they do, right? Marvel's trying to figure it out, but I'll tell you from my perspective, I think, particularly when it comes to Nova, right? Like maybe Nova is an easier one to figure out. I think it so obviously has to be a movie. I think for a number of different reasons. And I kind of have some similar thoughts actually about Strange Academy. But Nova, it's just so obvious, okay? I think if you make Nova as a show, it's going to be too limited. It kind of reminds me of what they're doing currently right now with the Lantern show, which I'm still excited for, and I still think it's going to be really great. But the Lantern show is not going to tackle some of the grand cosmic scale that you would think would be with a Green Lantern show. I think it is specifically set in the Midwest to tie it a little bit more to the terrestrial Green Lanterns, to the lore of the DCU on Earth, and also to build that up aesthetically through a Western vibe, is not as much crazy sci-fi. Think a little bit of Cowboys and Aliens, right? So that's kind of the vibe that they're doing with that. And I think that would just not work with the Nova Corps because two main things. Green Lantern and DCU has the benefit of being the new thing. And so we're inherently interested, and I would argue more interested in all the upcoming DCU projects because we're like, what is this world? How does this piece fit into it? There's a bit of a freshness to that, a novelty to that experience, right? Marvel's in a completely different position. Marvel's almost like fighting against their own reputation that's really been tarnished over the last couple of years. And I think especially with Disney Plus, this reputation is like, this is lesser than, it's not going to be as good. You know, all of that I think still lingers over Disney Plus. And that's not the case with like HBO Max or whatever they're doing with the Lantern show. So I think if they just go the regular Disney Plus route here, there's going to be some drawbacks just kind of caked in. And they're suggesting that they're not going to spend these crazy budgets anymore, right? That's another reason why a lot of the reporting around the Disney Plus plan seems to indicate more grounded street level stuff will happen on Disney Plus. You know, probably just a budgetary thing. And I don't think you could do a proper Nova show without a budget, especially if they want to do Annihilus. And that's the other thing. You know, the early plot leaks, the rumors around the show would be that it would be Richard Rider with a bunch of young Nova Corps as they encountered out in space Annihilus, the Annihilation Wave, some truly incredible, crazy cosmic stuff, and also horrific stuff. Really, really interesting stuff. So I don't think you could do that well on a Disney Plus budget. I think they need to make it a film. And I think by making it a film, you allow the project to have proper budget, you know, proper time, visual effects, big, grandiose scale. But I think you also allow other characters to pop up. So this is an element that not a lot of people are focusing on. But in Jeff's report, he had suggested in the initial report that you weren't going to get big characters in the shows anymore, and instead they would cross over more in the films, right? So that's probably an easier thing to figure out with the talent. This is like a lesser reported aspect of this whole situation, but I would guarantee that there's contractual problems with movie actors and TV actors and how that works even within Marvel Studios. I think you've seen examples of how that can work out in a negative way. I think if you just make it all cameos and film appearances, it's a lot more clean for the talent, probably a lot better. So I think Nova should be a movie. It should be great, big in scale. It should have other A-list Marvel characters. Because here's another thing. Nobody knows Nova. I mean, we know Nova here, you know, but normies, no. They don't understand Nova. They don't know who Richard Rider is. Richard Rider is not enough to lean on for a film. So if they're, you know, maybe thinking, well, we could make it a movie, but Nova maybe isn't A-list, B-list, they're absolutely right. I would add some other characters, right? I would add in some other characters. Maybe you add Thor in. You know, maybe you add the Guardians of the Galaxy. Maybe you add the Fantastic Four. You know, maybe it's Franklin Richards. You know, maybe it's some mutants, the Starjammers. Maybe it's the Shi'ar, right? And the Gladiator and stuff like that, you know? Adam Warlock, absolutely. Could be Captain Marvel, I guess, Adam. I was waiting for somebody to say it. Didn't think it would be you, though. Jeez. Yeah, so I would say make it a movie. Put some big Marvel characters in there. Dude, think outside the box, too. You know, think outside the box. You put a Spider-Man in there. Be kind of wild. Spider-Man in a spacesuit, maybe with the symbiote suit. Ooh, that could be pretty interesting. Put a wizard out there, man. Brother Voodoo in space. Why not? Get creative. Although I guess you'd want Doc Strange or Wong or somebody because you'd want more established. The whole point is bring in A-list characters. Really amp this up. You got to sell off spectacle, man. You really have to sell off spectacle. So I think that's what I would do there. However, I actually think, guys, that even when it comes to Strange Academy, I think the move... that's Brother Voodoo right there. I really do believe the move is movie as well. Okay? Now, walk with me on this because I got to be honest, the prospect of a Strange Academy film on its own doesn't really do much for me. But the prospect of a Strange Academy show does even less for me. Like, I don't think a Strange Academy show has any hype hook type element. Like, it just seemed like it would just be another Marvel show with some of the other characters, like Wong or whatever, right? And I think this is something that Marvel's, like, kind of missing, is their own shit doesn't pop the way it used to. So they need to stop thinking that people are going to go nuts for every little Marvel thing the way that they used to. And they need to build in something that's truly unique. So I almost feel like Strange Academy is probably just a bad idea in general and should probably be canceled, frankly. But it damn sure will not work as a Disney Plus show. Not without some other really crazy inherent hook. You know what I mean? Like, just as like one example, Wong gets taken to hell and his students have to go to hell to rescue him. I mean, that could work. That could be fucking crazy. You know what I mean? But outside of something like really ballsy and bold like that, Strange Academy, I don't think does anything for me. You know, just doesn't do anything for me. Now, I think like I said, there's ways they can make the movie work. But this whole discussion of Nova and Strange Academy made me really think about the shows. Because the more I thought about these, I was like, neither one of these work as a show. And in fact, a lot of the shows that Marvel's making, I don't think they work. I don't think they're going to work. I think they need to approach the shows from a perspective of having something really unique and really interesting about the shows. So I was thinking about some stuff. I got 4 different ideas for shows here. The first 2, Marvel's probably not going to go in this direction because they would be expensive, okay? But they represent a similar idea. They're all connected in the sense that you want a really unique hook, something hype, like a log line you can say to some normies that instantly get them interested in it. Like, as an example, if I just say to you, oh, Wong and a bunch of young magical using characters in the MCU are getting a show, that doesn't do shit for you. I mean, maybe for some people, but for most people, that doesn't do shit for them, okay? But if instead I said, after Secret Wars, the Infinity Stones will reform and be scattered across the galaxy or the universe like Dragon Balls. And we're going to make an Infinity Watch show, which is all about an organization that is out there trying to find the Infinity Stones and also find ways to help fight against the Infinity Stones if anybody ever puts the gauntlet back together again. You know? And the Infinity Watch was a real thing. At one point, Thanos joins it with Adam Warlock and Cosmo and shit. It was like really, really crazy. I think Infinity Watch would be awesome. You know? Infinity Watch in the comics protect the stones, yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, give it a new twist. Like, give it something new, but use the idea, right? The other one, I've talked about this a lot before, but Exiles. I think Exiles would still be a cool television show. You could even make it, like, more street level, although it's multiversal in its essence, so it's probably going to work off more spectacle. Maybe that has to be a movie or something. But that's what I mean, is, like, both of those ideas are... They have, like, a hook and a hype that is not, oh, this is just the new Marvel show with these characters, this version of a Marvel show. Like, I don't think that works. Here's one I thought of that would be really cool. What if they made a Sleepwalker show? Okay? Now, Sleepwalker is kind of like a good version of Nightmare. He exists in the Mindscape, or when he goes into his form, he exists in the Mindscape. He fights against other, fear lords like Nightmare, but can also fight against, like, the manifestation of other people's fear and shit like that. And so I think a Sleepwalker show that existed a lot in the Mindscape. I was thinking of some Legion vibes, you know, because they go into the astral plane quite a bit in Legion, and it's very visually interesting. I think so that's an example of a super obscure character. Like, nobody really knows who Sleepwalker is. However, the concept itself, and if you tap into a little bit of, like, Inception vibes on a show with a Marvel character, I think that's like a hook. Like, that would be a reason to watch the show outside of it being the new Marvel show. Because, again, I don't think that's going to work. And then the other one I thought of that would be so cool, and they would probably never do this, but imagine if they made a Fight Club type show in the MCU that was like an underground fighting ring, and you couldn't have too crazy of powers, so, like, they wouldn't let, like, you know, Omega level mutants or, like, Doctor Strange in there, but you could be enhanced and you could have your different grounded street level characters all fighting in cage matches in, like, an underground thing on Madripoor or something like that. Oh, that would be so cool. Like, that would be really fun. But those are just some examples that I came up with, that the main difference between those examples and what we're thinking about when we think about a Strange Academy show is, like, what's the fucking pitch for Strange Academy? A bunch of young, like, magic users in Marvel are hanging out with Wong? Like, that feels... First of all, way too familiar. That seems like the vibe they've been pushing for the past 5 to 6 years with all the young characters. And it just feels like derivative, lazy. Like, nothing about that is exciting to me. I think you need the shows, if they're going to exist outside of pushing the main beats of the story forward, they need to be designed around a character or a concept that has an inherent draw. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And I guess the TLDR would be make both of these movies. Probably just cancel Strange Academy. But Nova should definitely be a movie. And then they should come up with more interesting ways to make their shows. That's my take. What do you guys think? What do you think? Too crazy? Doom Academy? I mean, Doom Academy could be a lot cooler for sure. I still just don't think... Like, the mentality there, I think... is here's this cool thing from the comics. We'll do the MCU version of that, and that will be enough. And I'm trying to communicate, and maybe I'm not saying it the right way. I'm trying to say none of that it will be enough. The days of that working are over. Like, there's no novelty left in the new Marvel thing, because it's the new thing in Marvel. Does that make sense? Like X-Men, but with magic? I don't even think you could make a young X-Men magic show right now. Like, maybe slap the X-Men logo on it. It does a little bit better than some of these other things. I don't even. I think we are so past that. Because I was thinking about this morning, and I almost feel like I need to do a whole whiteboard stream to like explain this. But Marvel has found itself in a really interesting spot because of like the way human psychology works. And I think a lot of fans are like, if you've ever seen a couple that's in a really unhappy marriage and they've been in that unhappy marriage for like, way too long, you get to this point where everything is so familiar and tired. Everything your partner does or everything their partner does, like, just becomes a tired, just repeating, a doubling down of all the things that you think are way too familiar about them and all that sort of stuff. So there was a time when Marvel was novel, and the experience of seeing Marvel stuff on the big screen in the MCU in and of itself was enough of a draw to get people like really interested and excited. And like there's actually like a psychological reason that that's no longer the case. And so because of where the audience is at, mostly psychologically now, they need new things, like a new way to approach this. Every project should have a draw or a design that is beyond the scope of it being a Marvel thing. Like, they just basically need to be like, that does nothing anymore. You know what I mean? So that's, I don't know. That's just kind of, I probably rambled there, but that's what I'm saying. Do you think they full stop need to stop trying to draw in a new audience? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I would argue these concepts are more friendly to a wider, bigger audience. Okay? Does that make sense? Like, everybody's changed. I mean, you don't get to $23 billion in 10 years and like Marvel being what it was. Pretty much everybody on the planet's probably seen a Marvel movie. It's just different. Like, they're operating in a completely different space. And I think there's too much of the mentality. I think they're just not recognizing how different things are now and how much differently they should approach things if they want to be on the bleeding edge of like creating experience. Because ultimately Marvel, the MCU, when it was most successful, it was blowing our minds. We did not think that was possible. We did not think you could do that. We did not think they'd be able to pull that off. And then they did. So now it's like, we're not going to have that same feeling. You're doing the same trick over and over. There's no novelty to it. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I think about it. Because people wanted to know where the overall story was going. Since then, they have just kind of wandered around, not totally sure of what we were doing. Yeah, I think that's part of it for sure. But I truly think just the novelty of the experience. Like, I remember when Winter Soldier was coming out. And we were legitimately like, oh my God, they're going to do the fucking thing. They're going to bring Bucky back. This is mind-blowing. And of course, that's a massive thing in comics. Like, that was such a big, crazy deal in comics. And so the idea of seeing Bucky be revealed as the Winter Soldier and like how that was actually going to be shown in live action, that was enough of a draw in and of itself. And nowadays, if you were to do something similar, I just don't think that same level of novelty and excitement is there. It's certainly not inherently there for a lot of people. You know? So I just think that it's different. We didn't have leakers and scoopers back then as well. Oh, we did. They were just less popular. There were still plenty of leaks and scoops around that time. The difference was Marvel became so popular that the prominent leakers, scoopers, and insiders from that space got elevated to like this really weird status where they're just incredibly recognized as being accurate. This happened in Game of Thrones fandom before Marvel, though. So when the leaks came out for the last season, I forget the name of the account. I used to know the name of this Redditor. That's how they were like legit famous. We knew that they had indeed accurate leaks because they leaked the season prior. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that just happens. Marvel just got so popular that all of that stuff felt codified just because of the amount of people talking about it. But it's not that different than all the other fandoms, to be honest. Blades and Rivals, yeah, that seems cool. Everybody's all excited about the Marvel Rivals trailer, huh? Should we watch it? Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na. Dun, dun. Ooh, Noel. Too bad Sony was like, we can't do it. We can't handle Noel. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. Oh, you guys can't see it? Seems like a skill issue. Whoa, Jean Grey Phoenix. Whoa. Oh shit, she got venomized. A female Noel? What the? Aw, shit. Only ever gonna be one blade. That is pretty cool. That's cool animation, dude. Jean Grey Phoenix. Is she available right now? Ah! Blade does go kind of hard.
Is coming, and time will spiral into darkness.
Whoa, so cool. So that's actual Noel. So who's the biddy? Who's the lady? Who's the lady, Noel? What's her deal? New season on Superman Day release? Oh, good. I'm glad I'm seeing it early, so I can just kick back and play a bunch of Rivals, you know, or Warhammer. If you guys would prefer, we could play some Warhammer, you know. So it's up to you guys. It's up to you. So what do you think of the Marvel TV stuff? Is anything I'm saying making sense? Or are you guys like, Josh, you're overthinking it? Am I overthinking it again, chat? Was it all a dream? A little bit? A little bit what? Rivals greater than anything? Warhammer? Whoa. Hold your horses there, you know? Pump the brakes. Have I heard any news on X-Men 97 Season 2? Not really. No, not really. Marvel had to deal with the mandate after Endgame, Chadwick passing, the major drama. Feige had to drastically pivot his plans. Out of 50 MCU projects, 13 sucked. I'd give him some slack. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's fair. I mean, I try to walk a line where I am trying to give slack, and I do think Marvel is going to be fine. At the same time, it's hard to not acknowledge that this is maybe one of the greatest fall-offs we've ever seen, right? Like, and I know that, like, it sucks, but I think it's true. Like, even if you just think maybe Marvel was over-bloated before and it was like, that was a little too much, I still think the drop-off is pretty crazy. So I also just want to try to acknowledge that because, like, dude, I've lived it. Like, I've been very close to this, and it has been something to see. Like, and my normie friends will bring this up to me because a lot of my normie friends, they know what I do, right? And they'll be like my one buddy asked me when we were at over the summer, I went to like a bachelor party, or maybe it was last summer. My buddy asked me, he's like, so when you were starting to do YouTube full time, which was like right out of Infinity War Endgame. Actually, probably right at Endgame. When you were doing YouTube full time, you were mostly doing Marvel. Would you, if somebody would have told you in 6 years, 5 years, this is what Marvel's going to be doing, would you have believed it? And no, like That, I think, is like, it's okay to acknowledge that. This has been pretty crazy, dude. Right? So, I don't know. Was it streaming? Was it the fall off in quality? I don't know. It's like, it's a lot of things working together. The Exodus, appreciate you, brother, says they should have a show called Strange Tales where each episode is introducing bizarre characters like Sleepwalker, Deathlock, Death's Head, Man-Thing, etc., and spin off the ones that catch on. That's actually a really good idea. That's actually a really good idea. I was thinking about this morning, too, actually, where I was like, you know what Marvel's issue is? They're not creating different kind of programming and then doubling down on it fast enough, right? So, like, out of all the Phase 4 Johns, Shang-Chi's probably the best, right? And Shang-Chi's definitely the best original character that they've made. And yet it's been like 5 or 6 years. So it's two things. It's like they're not actually doubling down on their wins fast enough. Like they're not recognizing like, oh, people like this. Which is how, by the way, and I'm not trying to be rude here, but how fucking arrogant do you have to be as a studio? This, I think, is something you can hit Feige on. I think this is actually a totally fair criticism of Feige, and maybe even a criticism that he's like painfully aware is accurate. The goal to have some things be successful in comparison to the other things, and yet not think you have to alter your plans in order to double or triple down on those things, and instead you can just continue to provide enough good shit that the fans will just forgive you and be as excited for this thing that they supported 5 years down the line. That was a huge mistake. I think that is like fair, dude. You know what I mean? And that because it's kind of like ego. It's kind of like saying, well, sure, they did like your project, but we're Marvel Studios. We'll take it from here. We know how to build a cinematic universe or whatever, right? And it's like, yeah, but are you not listening? Because that's a different conversation. Like, if you're not listening and then you're just doing what you think will work, and then we see all these bombs and we see Daredevil not even being able to chart and shit like that, and you're like, I don't know, man. I kind of feel like maybe you couldn't have just done that as much. Maybe you should have listened. Maybe you should have said, oh, you know what? People really seem to like... Because what other studios do is they're so fucking desperate for a hit. They're so... like, they need success so fucking desperately that they will try little things, even like a pilot or something, right? Or an idea. And then if something hits, they tend to double, triple, quadruple down on it till it's a dead horse, and then they continue to beat it, right? It's a different problem, but they at least aren't so comfortable that they will ignore the sort of speaking of the audience through either the viewership or the actual box office. You probably need a combination there, you know? Paramount listened after the Sonic trailer. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I thought the Sonic thing, and Sonic has gone on to be a pretty successful franchise for them, will probably continue to be successful for them. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's a great example. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's like a Disney thing, if it's like a part of the Disney culture that just seeped into Marvel Studios when they got purchased, but it's a real Disney thing to like think you know what's best outside of what the audience is like explicitly telling you they want. You know? So, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Again, I think you'll probably see Nova as a movie. We'll see what happens with Strange Academy. I truly just don't think you need it. I think Strange Academy should be a B plot or a C plot in Doomsday. And just leave it at that. And then what you could do is, like, if it pops, like, if people tend to, like, really enjoy that part of the movie and maybe you get some signals from the audience that they want more, then do more. You know? What's this, like, being 6 steps ahead, like, we're going to introduce all these characters and we're going to tie them together in this thing. It's like, well, what if nobody fucks with those characters? Then you gotta juggle. You know what I mean? So, we'll see. We're in the middle of, we're definitely in the middle of a weird time period, and things are changing a lot. So we'll see how they all end up adjusting to it. But, yeah, just wanted to talk about that a little bit. Okay, let's talk about Invincible. Okay? pull back on this a little bit. So, Invincible, man. Great show. Incredible comic book. The last season, season 3, was a true test for this show. Season 2 was a big fall off. We just got done talking a little bit about a Marvel fall off. I don't think this fall off was as bad, but it was pretty embarrassing. You have Invincible season 2, widely considered a huge fall off from season 1. Couple of different reasons why. Number one, massive fucking delay, 2+ year delay, and the animation wasn't even that great, so there's a lot of issues there. Number two, they do this really weird, never quite seen anything like it thing where they delay the second half of the season 7 months. At least I think it was 7 months. This so silly break in the middle of that season. And so a lot of people were pretty upset. I also think season 2 just in general was weaker, had a pretty good ending, but some of the plot lines, some of the ways they were developing stuff just felt way too slow and then way too fast. It's poorly paced compared to season 1. So going into season 3, a lot of people had questions, how would they respond to some of the criticisms? And I will always give credit to teams and studios and companies, whoever is involved in these things. I will always give credit when they listen, when they make adjustments. Invincible particularly, I think, took a lot of the criticism to heart. They were playing a little self-referential, a little bit of self-deprecating humor here and there, kind of like their social media accounts, some of the comments from Kirkman. It just seemed like they were like, yeah, we're not going to do that delay thing again. We're going to get it to you much faster. And I love it. I love it because that to me speaks to them hearing the criticism, taking it seriously, adjusting, and also kind of conversely to what Marvel is doing. Not just saying hey, we know best, we know better, but actually being nah, they have a point, we're going to change this. So season 3, I thought was a fucking triumph, okay? It's a lot better in quality. It still has some wonky animation issues for sure. However, the last 2 episodes are maybe the best 2 episodes in the entire series. And it ends in this really interesting way where a part that was literally never in the comics is now going to be in season 4. And that's exciting because it's oh shit, what could this be? What's the character that demon dude's going to try to get the devil to possess? All that sort of stuff. Well, just got a really interesting update, and it has me super excited because I think this could solve the entire puzzle for Invincible and set Invincible up as one of the most peak superhero things ever. Animation, live action, group it all together. And also, too, and I haven't spoken a lot about this, but I always saw the potential here for Invincible. I think Invincible is the closest thing we have to American anime. I truly believe that. American anime, you might argue some of the Marvel shows, maybe the Spawn show here, this, that, second, and the third, anime type vibes. I think Invincible is the one that rings closest to that vibe. And anime is blowing the fuck up. I don't know if you know this. And Genko, welcome to the Nerd Avengers. Welcome back. Appreciate you. Anime is blowing up. The anime fandom loves it. And I saw a lot of anime channels actually cover Invincible in the same way they cover other anime properties. And I think this was a little bit this is an intentional thing. I think Kirkman has spoken about this, but there's a lot of Dragon Ball influences, obviously, in Invincible. And it's almost like his version of the Dragon Ball universe in a lot of ways. And those vibes are definitely there, and I think a lot of people like them. So let's read what was recently said about the animation for Invincible, okay? The animation team behind Invincible is still perfecting how to bring the superhero show to life, and I'm getting more and more impressed with each new season. Debuting in 2021, Invincible became one of the boldest takes on the genre to come to TV, for sure. The show is based on the comics of the same name that Robert Kirkman created alongside Corey Walker and Ryan Ottley, as it's only grown more ambitious visually, inventive on the creative side, and the animation process has likewise become more refined. This is largely due to the work going on behind the scenes at Skybound Entertainment, which has made most of the show's large bench of global animators and cutting-edge tech. During an interview with Screen Rant, head of Skybound Animation, Marge Dean, VP of Production, Alex Teslick, and animatrix editor Lindsay Myers discussed the unique learning curve that comes with Invincible, the decision to shift away from the CGI of the first season, and how the show continues to streamline the animation process heading into Invincible Season 4. Okay, so let's keep going here. Invincible isn't quite like anything else seen on television. The format allows for the show to take on impossible visuals, even as it remains a painfully human show. The extended runtime is a big reason for that unique vibe, as it allows for the show to have room for both character-driven drama and high-octane action. For the entire team, the unique runtime of the anime show is one of the most challenging aspects of making Invincible, with Tesla calling it one of the most unique aspects of the show. I'll just stop right there and say, that's fair. You know, that's something we don't really bring up, but it is fair. Even anime is usually a 20-minute, 24-minute max kind of a process per episode. And then if they were doing anything beyond that, they would assemble an extra team and have it be either a special or literally a movie. That's fair. We don't bring that up a lot, but that is fair. And also Elijah, 100% brother, says, I can't wait to see Midas and Magnus in some kind of sick animation unity. Dude, just wait. We are cooking. I know we're delayed, but obviously we're cooking, and it's going to be awesome. Both Dean and Myers concurred, with Dean noting this was really the first hour-long series I've ever worked on. The biggest surprise was the realization that doing an hour-long is way bigger than doing 2 half hours. It's not as simple as 2 half-hour shows stuck together. I'll admit, in my planning for the show, I made the assumption it'll just be twice as long as a half-hour show. It's not. It's more like 3 times, maybe even 4 times. We know what's coming in season 4, and it's going to blow people's minds. Even just in the storytelling, the scope of it, if you're going to carry people for an hour, the scope has to be huge. Myers, who similarly had a background in half-hour television like the Guardians of the Galaxy and Pacific Rim The Black, noted that it's a surprise. It's definitely a different beast. I'm kind of surprised at how quickly I got used to it, actually, with the tools at their disposal, the 3 all looking ahead of the upcoming 4th season of Invincible, and how it's going to wow fans. Dean explained that as we continue to perfect our pipeline, not just the technical one, but the creative pipeline as well, we keep amping up the skills of our team. I'm just so excited. There's so much to be excited for with the character and the story, but I'm personally just excited for how much we've amped up the quality of the animation to another level. It's my intention, and I share it with everybody, that we improve with each season. I know what's coming in Invincible Season 4, and it's going to blow people's minds. Now, real quick, we'll finish off the article. It's just a couple paragraphs, but I do want to say this does feel accurate to me, but it unfortunately is not accurate to the entirety of the season. The last 2 episodes of Invincible and a lot of the action sequences in the overall season are masterful. The animators that they have put on those parts of the show, and particularly those last 2 episodes, are really, really good. Like, frankly, as good as maybe all the other stuff, including the stuff in season 1. I think the problem is some of the less important parts of the show, or at least less visually interesting, are animated so poorly that it actually takes me out, dude. It actually takes me out of the show how poorly some of this stuff is. And Invincible has even made fun of themselves for doing this with the PNGs, and the guys just saying, which is actually something from the comics too, where they're you just copy paste the panels and shit like that. And I get it, it's all fun and games, cheeky, ha ha ha. But dude, I'm telling you, they need to curb that as well. Now, having said that, I do think 3 was a triumph. And so even if we're still going to get the little blemishes and it's still going to be whatever here and there, and they nail it when they need to nail it, I still think the show will thrive, frankly. That's still a better formula than what they had going on in season 2. So, hey, look, if they're telling me, and they literally are telling me, that they've been improving, I would say the other thing they're not really letting you know is that they changed styles completely after season 1. Changed animation houses after season 1, and the reason they did that was because of speed. That's part of the problem with the delay, and also they just wanted they were basically found a long-term solution to this animation problem and essentially just wanted to be faster over time. It's actually similar to what we did with Unity. We kind of like changed teams. It caused this big delay, but it's hopefully get the book to go a lot faster in the future. So that is something that also hurt season 2 because it was always going to be the worst one. When you switch in your first time, the first go, and they were still delayed, but still probably a crunch from their perspective. Yeah, that's tough. And that's probably why season 2 was the worst animated one. Season 3, a lot better, still has a lot of blemishes. If it's going to get even better in season 4, and that's what they're telling me, I am down, and I love hearing this. I can't wait for season 4. I think it's going to be early next year, right? Unless I'm mistaken, early next year. And I think they are absolutely cooking, and I'm hoping that if the animation could just get dialed up just a little bit, this show's going to do even better than it did before. I predict it will chart multiple times. It charted multiple times this year. Pretty crazy, actually, to chart with its final 2 episodes. I think, man, maybe even getting all the way up to number 3, although it was a pretty slow week either way. Still, Invincible, I think the future's bright. Love to hear this. Love to hear a lot of the other updates. So just wanted to bring that to your attention because I think it's a big freaking deal. What do you think about it, chat? What do you think? Is Invincible going to be the GOAT? Is it going to be the bestest one that we've ever seen? I'm really excited for that next season, bruh. Whoo, I'm real excited. Those last 2, dude, yeah, the Conquest ones. Dude, those last 2 episodes last season really blew me away, bro. Whoo, they really blew me away. I've never watched Invincible, so no comment. What? Just watch the first episode, bro. You'll be hooked. Just watch the first episode. You will be hooked. I think it's great. The Energon universe, that would be pretty peak too. What they're cooking right now is really cool, but they're bringing Michael Bay back, so I don't know. Any news on who's voicing Thrag? No. No news on that. Not from what I've seen. If I find out, I'll let you know. You never watched it? Oh, it's so good, man. It is so good. I think this season 2 is a little rough for me, but season 1 is so peak. Ryan stated he knows who Thrag is. Ooh, that's interesting. Oh, wow. Yeah, Jonathan, that would be cool if it's separate from Bay and all that. Yeah. That would be really cool. I read a few of those, especially the first few when, why am I blanking on the guy's name? I love this dude. Shit. The crazy artist guy that did the Old Man Luke Skywalker book. Darren William Johnson. I'm blanking on his name. Daniel Warren Johnson. There it is. Yeah, I read the first few issues that when he was still on the book as the artist. Really good. Really good stuff. It's better than The Boys. I think Invincible is better than The Boys, yeah. But The Boys is pretty good. Like, I'm not talking shit on The Boys. I like The Boys. I went out after you finished talking about Strange Academy and just came back. What did you discuss? We discussed Invincible. You'll have to watch it on the Clips channel now. I heard about that, Jonathan. That's pretty peak, dude. That's pretty peak. Eyes of Wakanda trailer just dropped? Are you serious? Is that real? Should we watch it? Should we watch that? What? I don't see it anywhere. I don't see it, bro. I think you're lying to me. Guess what hashtag I'm about to post under the trailer? I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably recast T'Challa, which I also agree with. So, hell yeah. Huh. All right. Don't know what all that's about. All right. Let's, you guys ready? Let's talk some Halo. You guys ready to talk some Halo? How many of you guys like Halo in here? Throw a 1 into the chat if you're a fan of Halo. Bro, I think it's time, man. I think it's time. Yeah, we got some 1s in the chat. I like old Halo. Well, there you go. You're a Halo fan then. Get the goddamn 1 in the chat. Halo Reach was the last good Halo. Fair. I think it's time with Halo, man. You know, the truth is, with all these other video game properties that are doing well, it's been kind of bittersweet, right? So, like, I really love the Fallout show. Like, so excited for the next one. So happy for the team involved there. Don't really watch The Last of Us, but, like, you know, from what I heard, that kind of fell off anyway. But at the same time, I was happy that, like, the fans of the game, you know, had that, and it was really cool. You know, the Mario movie, I like the Mario movie. But there was always this part of me that's like, man, it's like, I'm bitter. Because Halo missed this new wave, man. Like, there's this new wave of like, well, what if we like took it seriously? You know what I mean? I hear you, C Black. We'll go over it in a second here, man. What if we took this shit seriously? Like, what if we actually like made this really great? And Halo just missed it. It felt like it just missed it, man. They had that Paramount show or whatever. And I'm sorry, that shit was ass. I know there's probably a couple cool scenes here and there. I mean, it is fucking Halo, so there should be. But it's so ass compared to what it should have been. It damn sure wasn't with the Fallout show. It damn sure wasn't the Super Mario thing, and it damn sure wasn't the goddamn Last of Us. It was some goofy-ass, super corporate bullshit, Paramount Plus bullshit. Yeah, Master Cheeks. Shit sucked. So I've always been a little salty about how this whole fucking video game entertainment renaissance is going on, when my favorite shit, Halo, missed the boat. However, maybe the tides are turning here. Halo Studios will show first look at what they've been cooking in October. Okay, what's Halo Studios? Well, earlier this year, after Microsoft and 343 realized that nobody liked them anymore, they rebranded to Halo Studios. And it appeared they were putting new things into production. What new things? Is it a game? Is it a show? Let's watch a couple videos and have other YouTubers tell us.
This is pretty awesome. 343 Halo Studios just commented on when the next big trailers and announcement will be taking place. We have a rumors and speculation section here. This is a legit post on their official site, by the way. This is pretty incredible because
do not watch the Eyes of Wakanda trailer. Oh no!
Years of covering Halo news, have ever seen them have a rumors?
Your reaction is the next Halo game introduces a female Master Chief protagonist.
What is coming here
no
soon.
Thanks.
They say over the past few weeks, there's been a fair amount of speculation about when and where there might be more details will emerge about the multiple projects Halo Studios is actively working on. Multiple projects. Pretty cool to see that. We don't usually comment on such matters, but this time we want to enter the chat and share a little more perspective for Halo fans who might be on the fence about whether to attend this year's event. Last year at World Halo Championship, we premiered A New Dawn, where we talked about the switch to Unreal Engine and gave you a behind-the-scenes look at Project Foundry, and debuted our evolution to Halo Studios as we enter a new chapter for Halo for us. A New Dawn was just the beginning at this year's Halo World Championship.
Yes, I hear you, Cypher.
Continuing the conversation.
I hear you.
Speculation is always fun, but if you want the official scoop on what Halo Studios has been working on, you won't want to miss this year's Halo World Championship.
Ooh, Halo World Championship. When is it?
Join us in Seattle this October. So
October,
now,
okay.
Clearly, they are announcing something here, and to what degree is the announcement? We don't know. It could be a trailer. It could be a cinematic. cinematic. It could be even gameplay. I'm not saying that there won't be gameplay, just maybe unlikely, but still very possible. And considering the nature of this announcement, I do think that it is going to be pretty relevant. I've never seen them do this before, necessarily in the style that they have here. And this is going to be on October 24th, 25th, and 26th. That's when the event takes place. So mark those dates. At the end of October, we are going to see something big and new for Halo, likely the Halo CE remake. They're probably going to be announcing it on PlayStation, PC, and other things, everything, honestly, at launch. So that's going to be pretty big. It's going to spur a lot of controversy, maybe. But I think, regardless, people are just going to be excited to see something new, to look forward to something. Now we have this to look forward to. And I think that they're trying to bring a bit more attention to the event. But also, I think it's actually going to be relevant. And sometimes these events aren't. But last year they had the A New Dawn Studios documentary, and this year they might have another video documentary. I'm not sure. Now, another thing to take note here is that I'm actually going to be at this event, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to get you guys the news as soon as possible. I got you guys covered. That's my problem, but I'm still really excited to see what happens here in person, but also what happens just with the franchise moving forward. We have been let down before by specific Twitter posts from 343 employees, but I tend to take things a little bit more seriously when it's actually on.
This is the Halo Studios.
So this is exciting. They say multiple projects are obviously in the works, right? And that there's going to be an official scoop. So to me, honestly, I think we could see legit a trailer or something as big as that, something that's pretty relevant, right?
Pretty cool.
So what do you guys think?
And I want
Let me know down in the comment section.
I want to watch this video too. I think this guy might have more of extensive look at it, but we'll see. Zach says, I don't care to watch another show from Marvel about side characters. If you do a show focused on T'Challa, then I'm down. Otherwise, I'm good. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same way, man. I'm still on my Marvel show break. I told you guys probably not going to watch anything else for the rest of this year, and I mean that. So, you know.
We just got some massive news for Halo and what's happening this year at the Halo World Championships.
Let's go!
Involving the next Halo title. This is all but officially confirmed at this point. The speculation started with this Rebs Gaming video here, talking about Halo's big announcement this year, which we talked about previously on the channel, which by the way, give Rebs a follow. Guy does his research. And pair that information from what we got from Phil Spencer, which is basically the biggest wink and a nod I've ever seen from Xbox.
Wink and nod. Share that players will get to celebrate 25 years of Xbox with a new Fable, the next Forza, Gears of War E-Day, and the return of a classic that's been with us since the beginning.
I mean, what other game?
What other classic? There is none.
So with all these rumors and leaks and discussions going around, what's going to be happening at HCS Seattle this year, which I will be at. If you guys want to
all these people are going to be there? Fuck it, I'm going to be there too now.
Some cool Halo stuff. Go to HCS Seattle, guys. It's going to be a good time. Trust me. But I think 3/4 one now. Halo.
Justin says, unfortunately, this is going to be more of the same. You know what? I got to be honest here. I'm just going to point something out here, Justin. You seem to be a little jaded and negative towards all of these franchises. So I just want you to show us on the doll, where did Kevin Feige and Kathleen Kennedy and all of the Hollywood people just show us on the doll who hurt you and where?
Halo Studios just went full on with like, okay, we're just going to basically tell you without telling you. In this recent blog for this HCS Seattle blog right here, which, I mean, starting off the whole thing, you're starting off with just like an image from Project Foundry that we got at HCS event. So it's like, okay, we're going to get more. And created an entire section about rumors and speculation for the event.
I know, that is pretty wild.
Another picture from the Foundry. I mean, like, just at this point, just like reveal it. But let's go over about what they say in this blog and how it's going to affect Xbox and Halo moving forward.
Yeah,
over the past few weeks, there have been a fair amount of speculation about when and where more details might emerge about any of the multiple projects Halo Studios is actively working on. We don't usually comment on such matters, but this time we want to enter into the chat and share a little more perspective for Halo fans and who might be on the fence about whether to attend this year's event. Last year at Halo WC, we premiered A New Dawn, where we talked about the switch to Unreal Engine.
Yeah, it's
Gave
huge.
you a behind-the-scenes look of Project Foundry and debuted our evolution to Halo Studios.
Yep.
As we entered a new chapter for Halo.
So that was late
For
last
us,
year
a
then.
New Dawn was just the beginning. At this year's Halo WC, we are looking forward to continuing that conversation.
Yeah.
Speculation is always fun, but if you want the official scoop on what Halo Studios has been working on, you won't want to miss this year's Halo World Championship. We really hope you'll join us in Seattle this October. Now, that's the biggest like wink and a nod I think you could possibly say without just saying, we're going to show you the new Halo game, which I find this whole thing a really interesting strategy when it comes to talking about Halo, because it's a
Nick Spencer. If you think
title.
about it, Nick Spencer didn't talk about it. They're like hinting at, like, why are they being so secretive about it? It's kind of weird.
For Microsoft, it's not just like, oh, it's a little indie game, which is, you know, talk about it with the fans and they'll
Halo
enjoy it. Like,
VR.
no, like
Ooh,
Halo
that sounds
is
fun.
a big name, massive franchise, huge pull, massive interest whenever a new Halo game comes out.
True.
I mean, we all remember the numbers back when the first launch.
Dude, throwing
of the multiplayer
offhand
and the
grenades with
campaign
VR would
for
actually
Halo,
be
we were
lit.
talking about hundreds of thousands of people on Steam for the first time playing a Halo game at launch.
Yeah.
That was massive.
True.
And so I'm wondering like how this is going to tie in with Microsoft still having the big pull of being able to make the big reveals, but also talking about something at the Halo HCS Seattle event with also it being significant enough to like, hey guys, we're going to basically talk about the multiple projects we're working on right now. And if it's anything like we saw last year with the new Dawn trailer, we're going to get something like in game or in engine or something like tangible to really like talk about, which is one, really exciting, but also just really interesting. I'm wondering if like they're really kind of testing out the crowd and community reaction before making the massive reveal that you would see like in an Xbox showcase. Because I feel like making a Halo announcement of like a new game and stuff like that would be at an Xbox showcase.
Right, you would think so.
We saw what happened back in 2018. People lost their freaking minds.
True, but you know what else happened with Infinite? Infinite was used as kind of a marketing tactic, and it was definitely not ready. You know, and part of the problem was the slip space engine, but part of the problem was like Microsoft wanted the game then. So, you know, maybe the reason they're being secretive, because it kind of seems like there's multiple projects, right? And there's the Combat Evolved remake. I think it is a true remake in Unreal 5, which is like going to be fucking mind blowing. And that will be awesome, by the way, to play cross-platform. We'll play a bunch, and we can shit on all the PlayStation characters as they get in there like, what the hell? What, you know? So that's going to be awesome. That's probably at least coming relatively soon. That seems like that's been worked on for a while, and they don't have to build it from the ground up. They're probably working on the next Halo title as well. But there's probably a question as far as how ready is that actual game.
I mean, just look at Phil here. Like, he's walking out like, yeah, we came out swinging with some Halo. You guys want that? You guys like that? I mean, look, standing ovation for announcing Halo back in 2018. Like, wild stuff. Like, Halo still has pull, guys.
It definitely still has pull.
Small community now with, like, how Halo Infinite's kind of fallen off a little bit. But
yeah, you know, it's funny. Halo is very similar to the MCU. You know what I mean? Like, Halo used to be the whole thing. It was like the biggest game in town, one of the biggest shooters ever. Multiple comic books, novels, like the Halo IP exploded. You know, Halo TV show. So Hollywood definitely interested. Yeah. And then I think Infinite's tricky because it's just such not a great game. But the fucking gameplay loop, the main loop, is butter, dude. It is so smooth. It is so nice. So it's kind of a shame, man, because I think Halo, when done right, and I thought Infinite was a good example of how to modernize the Halo gameplay loop, bring the speed up just a little bit, add in some sprinting elements and whatnot. Thought it was really good. You know, they're just the slip space engine really prevented them from having a good campaign. The content aspect of it was terrible. How everything was armor locked and all that shit was terrible. The content that they made for it was terrible. So pretty mixed bag.
But there's still massive interest in this franchise.
There's still interest,
That's why I'm a little perplexed, if you will, because you would think they would save an announcement of a new Halo game for the Xbox showcase when the entire gaming community as a whole is watching, rather than saving it for a much more niche Halo thing of the Seattle Worlds, which definitely has hundreds of thousands of people at times can watch.
Yeah, but it'll still pop, dude. It'll still pop.
People love it. But it's gonna be really interesting the marketing strategy behind.
I
this.
think
Like
the marketing.
how-
I think the marketing strategy is good though, because I think Halo, by making it the game for, or rather by attaching the announcement to the actual World Championship, you kind of like remind everybody. It's like a subtle way to kind of remind everybody that the competitive aspect of this game is a big part of it, because that has actually been the part of the community that's really kept the thing alive. The pro Halo players, they're still doing their thing years after Infinite had its peak, and they're still trying to win the championships, and they still love Halo. I think that's a big inherent thing that a lot of people pay attention to. So it's like the super nerdy part of that community. I think it's actually good to promote the new game there, because yes, it'll pop regardless, but it also kind of is this subtle reminder to the really hardcore competitive gamers that Halo still has a competitive scene, and that's always going to kind of be like a part of it.
Is Xbox going to be able to really kind of balance out, like giving Halo fans something that they're interested in, but also not like taking away like Phil Spencer's thunder for Xbox showcases? Okay, then it begs the question: what are we gonna get then, Kevin?
Yeah, what are we
It's
gonna
not
get?
Be an official reveal of a game, maybe like just the title. Like, what are we gonna get then? Because it seems like we're gonna get something rather significant, and I would absolutely agree with that. What I'm expecting to have happen is probably a reveal of at least like the names of what projects are currently in the works right now. Because you went from just like talking about switching to Unreal, renaming the studio last time. You need to up the ante again. You need to come in even swinging even harder if you're going to try to outdo yourself last year, because this is a major announcement right here. Now, something like this wouldn't be an announcement you would see at like an Xbox showcase. Definitely much more of a Halo community only kind of thing. And I think doing it at this type of event was a right time to do it. But if you're going to like showcase the game, then like, what would you actually show without stealing the thunder away from Phil? But they reiterated again within this blog, talking about the multiple projects Halo Studios is actively working on. I think we're going to get an idea of at least what to expect. We might not get the actual titles, or maybe even like showcase, maybe a glimpse of like what Master Chief might look like. But I think we're gonna get announcements of like a new fully fledged Halo game with a campaign, multiplayer, and all that good stuff. I would also say with Phil making that reference and that wink and nod of a classic returning to the platform that's been there since the beginning. I mean, we're talking Combat Evolved remake then at that point, which has been rumored for what, 2 years now at this point. So I could totally see the reveal, maybe a CE remake. That would be really exciting. And maybe for the Xbox showcase, show actual gameplay. And then
if it's a true, like the thing is too, if it's a true remake and it's just really crispy and fun, that would be great. And I think a lot of people would play that. Look at what just happened with the Oblivion remake. Like, dude, that thing was popping, man, and people loved that experience.
One more, and actually having to be exciting rather than another Call of Duty game. It's Halo 7, and what the vision for Halo going forward is going to be from there. That's something I think you could totally see working out properly. Because I think Halo CE remake, it's going to be great. People are going to love it. People are going to play it, certainly myself included. But it's going to be something more for the Halo fans, but also as maybe a good starting point to get the general audience involved with Halo again, especially with it moving to PlayStation. We might even get, this will be a great time for a PlayStation announcement as well when it comes to saying like Master Chief Collection and maybe even Halo Infinite moving to PlayStation, which would actually help out a lot when it comes to the population
That's true.
of those games. It's just a very unique and weird time for Halo right now, where maybe that interest just isn't quite there to get people wanting.
And I hope they're cooking a show too, or like a movie or something.
Or maybe not be a massive showcase type of moment, but something that people need to know about and get themselves mentally prepared for when the next Halo experience might come out. Let me know.
Cool, man. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So I'm actually a little optimistic about this. Look, frankly, it can't be worse than what happened with Infinite. Infinite had so much promise and so much hype, and then just sucked so hard. So it can't be worse than that. I would imagine it can only go up from here. I'm hoping that this is also like combined with new content, either comics, novels, because I know they just announced that they're going to finish Chief's story from Infinite in a novel, which some people are kind of bummed about. But yeah, I hope you get more new content, maybe the show, maybe a movie or something. That would be terrific, man, because I think Halo deserves to be on the level with some of these other classic video game. And if video game stuff is the future, if that's where we're going, it seems like every other day we get an announcement of a new video game movie, video game show, or whatever. Bro, let's go. Let's go. I want it. I want it all. That guy was just the basement of nerds. I mean, all of us nerds. What's wrong with being in the basement? You know, what's wrong with being in mom's basement and then come down with some fucking, what are those little hot pocket things that you put in the microwave with the pizza that they come out super hot like lava and yet somehow still partially frozen? You know, like what is this? We're taking friendly fire over here. What a lazy dog. Yeah, he is pretty lazy. You're not wrong. Pizza bites, dude. Real talk, man. I remember getting a lot of pizza bites from mom on some long Halo sessions, man. Real talk. Hell yeah. That was the shit. I might go get some pizza bites today, man, and play some Space Marine. Kind of sounds awesome. All right. Should we talk about how Warhammer is so much better and the characters are so much stronger than Star Wars? Should we talk about this real quick? Should we talk about this real quick here? Okay, so I'm going to float this idea. I really want to know what the Star Wars fans think of this, okay? So I want to just go over this idea. We'll go over what other people are saying here. So, Star Wars fans, you guys, are you out there? Star Wars fans, do you guys know about Star Wars? Jedi, lightsabers, and shit? Okay, so here's the question. Sanguinius, who's one of the Primarchs. He's one of the Primarchs. He's got wings. He's really powerful. I think he's widely considered the most powerful Primarch, although anytime you say shit like that in Warhammer, you get a bunch of sweaty people coming out of the woodwork that are like, well, actually, this Primarch's technically better. Whatever. Sanguinius, the glorious Hawk Boy, and 300 Custodes. We heard about these guys, right? I talked to you about them before. Are sent to the Star Wars universe. The job is to simply beat them into submission. Can they do it? Okay? So Star Wars fans, I want to set this up for you. Sanguinius the Primarch and 300 Custodes enter the Star Wars universe and they want to beat the universe into submission. Who's going to stop them? Who's gonna stop them? And do you think that the Star Wars universe would stand a chance? Reva, absolutely. Rey, that's actually really interesting. Rey and Reva team up, probably gonna get it done. Vader solos. Oh, that's an interesting one. Is there a Death Star? There could be Death Star. Great googly moogly. Is that thing juicy? Says Terrence with a $20 holler. Really appreciate the $20 holler. And I believe that's an Anchorman quote. So appreciate that as well. Thank you. Thank you, Terrence. Megan the Stallion. True. Star Wars has AI. Yes, they wiped the Warhammer universe. Interesting. R2-D2 is the winner. Abeloth. Kai Sanat. What? The power of the many will take them out. Yeah, true. All Star Wars has to do is talk shit about the Emperor, and they are cooked. Okay, so interesting. A lot of things here. Revenge of the Sith, Anakin. Okay, so let's see what these different folks have to say here. Okay, so this guy says, well, there's no individually above. I think he means individual above Sanguinius, so he can casually kill all the heavy hitters. Is the verse bloodlusted against them? Or can he depose the government and establish his own reign? What time period? In a similar scenario, Primarchs are intelligent, charismatic, enough to, at a minimum, lead or create a splinter faction within Star Wars and snowball from there. All the Custodes are literal geniuses that can run things better from a bureaucratic and logistical standpoint. So this guy's talking about how in the canon, I agree with your points, but I was reading Sanguinius' respect thread. I personally don't see how he would defeat Legends Palpatine. So none of you guys brought this up because you're bad Star Wars fans. But Legends Palpatine is pretty strong. He's insanely physically strong, able to cut a Titan in half. They're talking about Sanguinius there, I believe. And he has precognition abilities, though not to the degree of Palpatine. He also has psychic resistance, able to resist psychic attack from demons. However, he is slightly injured from Angron, who has the strength of 100-ton range. Legends Palpatine has the ability to destroy an entire star fleet with force lightning and has stronger precognitive abilities than Sanguinius. Sanguinius' precognition doesn't tell him exactly what is going to happen, just versions of the possible future. Truthfully, I don't see how Sanguinius would win. Does anyone have a feat or evidence to see how Sanguinius would beat Legends Palpatine? Okay, so this guy says, I was talking about Legends and canon in my comment. We've discussed Legends Luke a few times on this sub, who I'd argue is later in life very well did surpass Legends Palpatine. And he's around middle of the road Primarch level. There's arguably no one above Sanguinius save Magnus. Sanguinius has pretty decent fight precog. That means precognitive ability. Although I'm not sure it's as good, better, worse than Conrad's. I'd have to actually go looking. I'll get back to you on that one, but it's not as relevant as his actual stats, gear, and skill level. Even low-level Primaris Psychers have a pretty decent precog, as shown in the Witchbringer and in Lazarus. Edit, looking at Pharaohs, I actually just bought it. Sanguinius is pretty even with Kurz, who has incredibly combat precognitive abilities. That's like being able to see what happens before you fight. I'm still trying to source my material and detailed comment, but I made it specific about aim at Legends, but post got deleted. Referring to Palpatine is weak whatsoever. The biggest difference is his speed, blitz, and strength. Yeah, I believe that Sanguinius' precog is stronger than Kurz in the Horus Heresy. That's kind of like debatable, but whatever. Did I really just read on here, Vader or the Jedi strike team kills the Bird Boy? Have you guys ever read the lore and not just watched TikToks on the man? I'm not saying he's invincible, but he would fuck up Vader and a strike team at the same time. 100%, dude. Vader, at his most powerful, cannot even come close to how powerful Sanguinius was. Not even close. Sanguinius could genuinely solo the entire Jedi Order at once with Vader thrown in for good measure. He is just that good. That is facts. That is 100% facts. By direct engagement, they would be defeated soundly. Assuming the Empire era, the Empire has way too many capital ships to contend with for even the non-warp infused Vengeful Spirit to contend with. I wouldn't even speculate on the power scaling. The number are such that even the Vengeful Spirit is 100 times an ISD. I don't know, but humor me. And still loses in direct conflict. If Sanguinius and the Custodians are allowed to build bases, convert worlds to the Imperial truth, recruit locally, and establish supply chains, I think they stand a fighting chance. But this is entirely dependent on the era they are fighting in and the logistics of the entire galaxy at their back. And I think they stand a strong chance, even the logistical-based combat republic. So what he's making the argument is that the fleet of the Empire in Star Wars is much more equipped for space battle than all of the ships, or I guess what would be maybe one ship with Sanguinius and 300 Custodians. That's probably fair, right? Because now we're just talking like the entirety of the fleet, and if they got the Rebel Alliance and the Empire to work together, then in a space battle, they're probably fucked. But they still probably can't kill Sanguinius, even if they blast him out of the sky in the middle of space. So, I don't know. I also feel like I have to sneeze. Hang on. So, that's kind of interesting. That is an interesting point. The Vengeful Spirit is bonkers. It can tackle whole fleets of 40k ships without worry of hundreds. I just won't be an issue. The sustained Nova Cannon barrage is bananas. Here's what a single shot does. The Nova Cannon was a marvel of war, its technological mirror worthy of the most hushed mechanical prayers, but its fundamental conception at its core being, it was simplified itself. It was just a gun. A gun of godlike proportions, but a gun. Barrel ran much the length of the strike cruiser. Projectile was 50 meters in diameter. Fighter speeds consummate with the weapon scale. So this guy's pushing back. This guy's like, nah, I actually think that the one Vengeful Spirit ship would actually be able to stand up against the Imperial fleet. That's kind of interesting. This guy says, one Custodes solos Star Wars. I'm going to be honest with you. I actually agree with that. I would say this. Not all Custodes are made equal. There's probably some bitch-ass Custodes out there. But if you're talking about the upper level, like a shield captain, like a blade champion, Constantine Valdor himself, dude, a single Custodes would absolutely solo the Star Wars galaxy. All the characters. I agree with that. But also, I'm pretty biased. This guy says, okay, look, I understand Warhammer is very, very high up on the food chain for a good reason, but this level of glazing is crazy. Let's calm down. This is a great clapback, though. This guy says, if one Sith could do it, that's totally true, dude. If Palpatine could do it, a Custodes could absolutely do it. Yeah, holy shit, they can destroy tanks. It's clearly Star Wars universe is outmatched. They have no weapons. Yeah, exactly. Star Wars weapons that could kill a Custodes. Obviously, the issue is hitting them with those weapons. Yeah, because they'd be like a blur, a golden blur of super soldier goodness. Hell yeah. You'd probably need a Death Star to kill it, to be honest. Hell yeah. We're talking Imperial era Star Wars Legends versus canon is crazy different. The details, Legends takes it. Pulp is a beast. Even if they kill him, he can just come back. That's actually true. Palpatine's pretty crazy. So I would say, here's the way I would say it. If the Star Wars universe, if we're talking Legends Palpatine, Legends Luke, okay? Does anyone in Warhammer have anything compared to the Force? Oh, you sweet summer child. Yes. They have a ton of space wizards. The Primarchs themselves, like Sanguinius that's what I was talking about when I said precognitive abilities. So Sanguinius can see your movements before they happen like Anakin, except it's dialed way the fuck up. Sanguinius is said to have better precognitive abilities than even the Emperor of Mankind. Okay? So, yeah, not only that, like, he just emanates like a powerful warp aura that causes all kinds of issues for opponents. Some of them, like, so librarians are just space marines that are also wizards. Dude, a librarian versus a Jedi would not even be close. Like, let me try to pull this up. Let me try to find you what a librarian looks like. Oh, here's a grape. Okay. So here, I'll show you. So these guys, these are the librarians, okay? And they have ceramite armor. Literally very few weapons in all of Star Wars would be able to penetrate this armor. They can shoot their own version of Force Lightning. They can use like mental things, like all of that sort of stuff. Their power weapons are like lightsabers, except like actually the size of mortal men. Because remember, these guys are 9 feet tall. Okay? So you're talking about a regular, normal-sized Jedi, even if they were wearing like the Clone Wars armor and they were juiced to the max, they're not doing shit to an individual librarian. Like, they literally would not stand a fucking chance. And that's just an average librarian. So if it's there are some librarians in the Grey Knights that are absolutely ridiculous. There are some librarians that have demonic weapons or have a shard of either an angel or a demon inside of them. So yeah, dude, they definitely have the Force. I would argue even a regular Inquisitor would probably be on the level of a Jedi. And that's just like a regular human, not a super soldier, that can use the warp. So, yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. See what else these guys have to say. Let's see here. Eventually, the Imperial Navy assembles large scale, particularly if they're using the Saxon power number. Vengeful Spirit can, in other words, the Vengeful Spirit can beat a Star Destroyer. What about 5,000 Star Destroyers? Yeah, that would be the tricky part, right? Would be the scale of the Star Destroyers. I agree. This is ridiculous. Star Wars verse literally has planet bursting abilities and no warp. If the verse is bloodlusted, this is just unimaginable shitstomp for Star Wars. So there's definitely a varied of opinions here, but all of the people that are correct, oh, you can't see this thread anymore. all the people that are correct in this thread are on the Warhammer side of it. So I guess what we're really saying here is through science and through good nerdy debate in these halls, we have decided that Warhammer is so much stronger than Star Wars, and that's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, so good to know. So good to know how powerful the Yuuzhan Vong will eat all of them. There's a similar thing to the Vong in Warhammer called the Tyranids, and they are pretty rough. They are pretty rough to deal with. But, yeah. Yeah. You underestimate my hammer. Exactly. This is prime rage bait? What? What are you talking about? This isn't rage bait. We're having a nerdy conversation here. I'm just trying to explain to you guys. You missed my membership chat yesterday. It's cool. I said, ask my Alexa if I wanted to play the new Superman theme, and I told her to shut the fuck up and play the Fantastic Four. That's funny. That is funny, man. That is funny. Yep. A big worry for the Fantastic Four is your average under 30-year-old doesn't know who the Fantastic Four even are. The classic Marvel characters gone, yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair. They certainly are not the most happening and popping thing, but they're probably going to make them play Minecraft, and all the kids will be down. You know? Maybe Ben Grimm is actually refusing to say chicken jockey. Yeah, I know. Kind of crazy. Just introduce them in Fortnite first? Totally. Did I see the Thrawn Warhammer video? I did. I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah. I don't think I watched the whole thing, but I did watch a good bit of it, and I thought it was pretty sweet. Thought it was pretty chill. So you won't finish Ironheart tonight? No, I'm not going to watch Ironheart tonight. I'm going to be playing Warhammer. I'm actually playing a team that has a bunch of these wizards, believe it or not. I actually am running a bunch of librarians. Because I want to do a bunch of space magic, so. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. What the hell is this? Oh, yeah. I heard about this. Didn't Chapter Master Valrak say this was kind of fucked? Oh, no, this is different. This is the heroes. Dude, yeah, I want these. I want these bad. Are these out yet? I'm going to get a whole goddamn box, dude. When do they come out? Later this year. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to get those for show. Oh, he hates the box? Well, I like it because I like Dark Angel, so I'm going to get him. Cancel Disney Plus because of Ironheart? Hey, man, you do you. I mean, that seems a little extreme. But you do you, man. I'm not going to cancel Disney Plus, but just not interested in Ironheart, man. Not really doing it for me. Not really doing it for me. Hey, is there any other crazy news out here, guys? I think we might get out of here soon. I know it's not as long of a stream as yesterday, but I do have a bunch of stuff I need to get to today. I almost didn't stream today, but everybody was so mad. They were like, no, you've got to stream. So I decided to stream for you guys. It was for you, you know? So probably going to get out of here soon. 007. Yes, it was like a marathon stream. Yeah, it was a chunky one. We'll probably have another chunky stream tomorrow, to be honest. So. The only reason I'm watching Ironheart tonight is because I heard the finale was good. That's true. I did hear that was good. Yeah. A lot of the Prime demo, 14 to 24, haven't grown up with the good Marvel animated shows. Doesn't have the same print. Yeah, I think that's totally fair, man. I think that's absolutely fair. Mephisto. Yeah. Warhammer Rage Bait just for us. Well, I'm definitely cooking some Warhammer content for sure. Not really rage bait though. The latest Dune Messiah Man or any updates on the plot leaks Fantastic Four post-credit scene? Don't really have any new bits on that. I mean, maybe some stuff will come out. I haven't seen anything. It's actually like we had so much to go over yesterday, but it feels like today things are a little lighter. Feels like there's not too much going on out there. You know, I thought the Invincible stuff was really interesting. The conversation about the shows is interesting. You know what I mean? Like, I'll throw that up on the Clips channel later. Like I said my piece about it. You know, a couple interesting things here. Halo stuff, but other than that, guys, you know, it's just not too much going on today. We'll see. Maybe some news will come out later. Maybe some news will come out tomorrow. You know, I unfortunately, you know, if like let's say Ironheart is like really not doing that great, you'll probably get a big piece of Marvel news tomorrow to kind of shift the conversation. That tends to be the pattern. We saw some big news drop even after some of the Daredevil weeks. Yeah. Or the Daredevil episodes, yeah. I did see that, Kaylin. I already watched that animation. I thought it was cool. I really like the animation style that they do on those. They're better than a lot of the animated shows they have and shit. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Rumors of Luke being in the show. So I'll tell you this. The one thing I didn't hear too much about is Luke in Ahsoka Season 2. I think he probably is, but that's the one thing I did not hear about. So I didn't mention that at all in the big leak video I made because I didn't hear about it. Did I see the Herbie IMAX presentation video? Yeah, it seemed cute, man. It seemed cute. You know, I think Herbie's cool. They are already trying to shift with the Wakanda teaser trailer. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what to think of how they're viewing the marketing on that or whatever. You know, the thing that is the Eyes of Wakanda show, I heard they spent like $20 million on that show. It does not look like a $20 million show to me. If it gets some rave reviews, if people are like, yo, this is actually legit, maybe I would check it out. But I really kind of am more on my Marvel break right now, man. 20 million's a lot for a 4-episode spin-off show. Yeah, that's a lot, man. That's a lot. It looks silly. I didn't see the trailer. I'm probably honestly not even going to watch the trailer. That's not true. Maybe I'll watch it later. It's a project releasing every other month, remember? Yes, but the point is all of these projects had been in development for years, so the studio has shifted its mentality, and yet they had all this leftover stuff. Does that make sense? Like, they have so much leftover stuff in the pipeline that was made before they actually shifted their mentality. So I almost feel like I'll just wait for the actual shift, you know? Why would they even release Ironheart? Somebody should be fired. Well, I think from their perspective, like, frankly, I would say that about a lot of projects over the past couple of years. And I think the mentality over there is like, we're going to bite the bullet. We're going to get out here and try to support as best we can because they don't want to be seen as the studio that like made all this stuff and then like abandoned it. At the same time, I think they're pretty aware that it's not popping like that. I think that's partially why you get the 7-month delay of Secret War of Doomsday. I think they want to put some space in between these projects and the next big Marvel things. Fantastic Four, we'll see how it goes. But yeah. Watch the Project Hail Mary trailer. I watched it. Yeah, it looks all right. Ironheart is not that bad. I get not wanting to watch it, but relax. I mean, I haven't seen it, so I can't speak to it. You know, I genuinely have no idea. I just think they probably know it's not going to perform well. I mean, Thunderbolts should have been a big smoke signal to them that the quality is not going to make the thing successful. Like, they've tarnished it so badly that, like, even if Ironheart came out and had like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes and people were like, this is the best fucking show they've ever made, I still don't know that it actually moves the needle that much, you know? But I frankly cannot speak to the quality of it. I have no idea. Haven't watched a single frame. I thought you saw the first 3 episodes. Nope. I haven't watched a single frame. We did a watch party last week, and if you don't know what happened on the watch party, oh no, that's not true. I did watch some of it. I did watch the found footage beginning, and then I bailed. Yeah. Yeah. All right, everybody, I'm going to get on out of here, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. A little bit more of a casual stream, nothing really crazy going on, but thanks for being here anyway. Thank you for the support, your time, attention, the likes, the subscribes, the members, chats, the super chats, just hanging out in the chat. I really appreciate it. Also, thank you. Make sure you check out the main channel. Got a couple of vids coming out in the next couple of days on there. I think you'll enjoy. And then a bunch of stuff will go up on the Clips channel later today as well. So really appreciate it. Thank you all for the love, for the support. We'll be back at it tomorrow. I think tomorrow's stream should be a little bit girthier, a little bigger. We'll see. Hopefully some big news drops, and we can discuss it tomorrow. Either way, appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? That was a long shit. I just tell you, I was watching a Valorant video. I mean, anyway. Another happy landing, everybody. You know, appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. I thought it was a cool time, man. That Halo stuff's got me interested. Always good to talk about how Warhammer's better than Star Wars, so that's lit. Good ass stream, man. I know you're feeling good, charged up, you know. Got a little Josh in your life, you know what I'm saying? The best part of waking up is Papa Josh in your cup. Pause. All right, we're gonna get out of here. Hey, do me a favor. Actually, do me too. Open up your third eye and wash out that stinky butthole. All right, see you later.